Howdy. I read Dance, Dance, Dance by Haruki Murakami in 2008, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. And in June of that year, I wrote this about it. This was a terribly interesting read for me. I'm unknowingly going through some of my favorite authors' first and or early works right now, and this is such a great example of the basis of Murakami and can show readers the stark truth laced with rampant abstract psychedelica that is the bedrock of his writing. It is not the complex tapestry that the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle is, but it doesn't disappoint. The story reminded me of so many different things that I like. At one point, I thought I was in a Japanese noir Dennis Lehane story, wrapped in Agatha Christie mystery, carried along by innovative Tom Robbins-ish characters and their rebellion against natural law. I don't think this should be anyone's first Murakami, but if you are into his vibe, you will float along appropriately with the traditional yet experimenting beat of dance, dance, dance. I'm already starting to laugh because I kind of have to call myself out on the way that I was writing this because still these are some of my early reviews, and I don't know why I chose to relate it to these other things. I think it's because it's the way that I thought reviews were meant to go. And then of course I'm finishing it with the title of the book, which feels very journalistic in nature, like something that I would do if I was writing for the paper. But so it's kind of cheesy. I feel kind of cheesy about reading it and talking about it that way, but I really like the book, and I really like Murakami. You remember, if you're watching these reviews, that a couple weeks ago I was talking about Tom Robbins and Murakami in the same sort of vein. And the idea for me is that it's this kind of, I use the word abstract fiction. It's a world that is adjacent to what we experience in this world, in that there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of outside the normal. It's not necessarily paranormal, it's not necessarily woo-woo, but it's definitely different. It's abstract, and it's art, and I love it. And it doesn't have to be based 100% in reality, and I really like that. I really like taking the ride with it like that. Now, the other thing that I need to make fun of myself in this is that I actually edited this, and it looks like I went back and edited it in 2016 because I had thought, like we talked about with Tom Robbins in Another Roadside Attraction, that was his first book. And I had thought Dance, Dance, Dance was Murakami's first book too. But when I put the review up on Goodreads, it said that it was like the number 4th in the Rat series with Murakami. So I didn't even know. I think at that time I was using, at the front covers of books where they like list all the books, and they just list them like other books by Murakami. I think I had read a book where it had Dance, Dance, Dance listed first, and so I just made the assumption. I was just like, oh, so that's his first one. Okay, so I'm reading the first ones. But yeah, I went back and saw that this was just one of the earlier works, and that this was one of the first series that he had done. So it was great. And honestly, with Tom Robbins and Murakami and these kind of things, if for some reason my to-read list is getting low, I will just go through their books and just be like, oh, I haven't read that yet, and I add it to there. Otherwise, the way that I'm building my reading list really is looking at all the people I'm connected to on Goodreads and what they're reading and what they've reviewed recently, and just kind of building my list that way. So that's kind of the way I do it over there. But yeah, so Dance, Dance, Dance. It's not the only Murakami that's going to be on this list. There will be more in future years that I remember more from. This one feels really sort of like a simple mystery from what I remember on it. It doesn't have I don't remember it to have very heavy topics or very deep emotional topics, which we sort of get into with other Murakami books. But it wasn't like Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, which was my first Murakami as well, which I loved, and that was really sort of spoke right to my heart about the experience, a personal experience there. This is just another one. I talk about it, like I said here, the bedrock of his writing in that sort of abstract way. And if you like Murakami, I think you'll like this one too. So Dance, 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 Murakami, 4 out of 5 stars.